You know what we've got
We
to
must
do,
start
boys.
recording.
Bradley needs to recite everything.
Oh man.
It's
Oh,
me.
it's Caleb this time. Woo.
Hey, dang, I haven't had to do the recap in like 3 sessions now. This is crazy.
It's a
It's
miracle.
like ever since Jim
I
got
mean,
here. Alright, so where we left off, we found the key to the secret door.
who's this guy?
Who is
That's
here?
music bot.
Oh, it's a freaking music bot
Music
every
bot.
time.
Never getting used to that.
I've gotten good at guessing when it's a music bot.
So, as I was saying, we opened the door, we found a ledger full of interesting stuff. We have no idea what to make sense of it. Put a pin in that. And we found some interesting blood.
I should turn my music off.
And
There we go.
then as we were leaving, we were performing the ritual, and then we failed to do a perception, and some stone golems practically snuck up on us. Then we realized that they only respond to when they're not being looked at. And let me see, and then after that, what happened? Oh yeah, we went through the teleportation circle, and we ended up underneath the palace in the library. Then we ran back into Duncan, and he pretty much said, shit's going down. And I think he said you can leave the city, but I don't think you'll last long. And he said if you want to stop the Duke, it has to be now. And let's see, what else? I don't remember what else he said because it was late. And what else? So yes, then he said, if you want to know the truth, follow me. And then we followed him, and then we went to this sketchy looking place. Like an old rundown, not a theater, courthouse? Or courtroom? I forgot what the official term was. The point is, then we saw a bunch of nobles, and then when we looked down, we saw a whole lot of familiar faces. And then basically the Duke said, yo, our Emperor's a lich. We do not, being the Emperor and having eternal life is a big no-no. So then he said, I propose we kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where we left off.
Okay, so let's just rewind back to the mausoleum real quick.
The mausoleum.
So the ledger you found,
It had a bunch of names and dates, like a genealogy thing.
You found a genealogy, yes. We also found a separate ledger, and the ledger the party had figured out was just a catalog of all the treasures that were in.
Yeah.
Yes, because
we also found a calendar of stuff. We never really did figure out what it meant.
Yes, you also found that, but the ledger was just a catalog of all the treasures that were in this mausoleum because, as Norsco originally figured out, and then the rest of the party figured out, all of these tombs were just filled with gold and jewels and treasures. They had no bodies in them. So that's what the ledger was cataloging, were the treasures in the mausoleum. The genealogy was a genealogy. You entered a room up here in the top left of the map, a blood chamber. I can't remember if you really figured out what it was for, but the room was filled with vials of blood. There were bottles from individual characters, from people. There were also just generic bottles, human, elf, dwarf, from species and from regions and races. And you had back to the teleportation square down here in the top right. Norsko had deciphered this altar, which has a tablet on it and an inscription that said, "The blood of mortals is cheap, paid with the more precious sanguine." And originally there were only 3 of these goblets around these corners, and there was one that was empty, and you found, or one that was absent, and you found that goblet up here in the blood chamber, and it was glowing very faintly, unlike the others, which were glowing much more strongly. You brought it down, you put it in the receptacle, it didn't do anything. You ended up having to go back up to the blood chamber, and you retrieved the blood of an individual. Do you remember who that was? You figured it out because you had found the genealogy.
Start with an S.
It's like Samzoa.
Is some member of the Atreides family?
Samzoza.
Yes, as a member of the Atreides family, Samzoza Atreides, and you assume that that is the first name, the given name of the Duke. There's some weirdness because it says he's supposed to die this year. Then his death date has already been filled in, and it is this year. That has some weirdness, but he is the only one on this genealogy who is even close to still being alive, according to the time period. So you took his blood and you filled the goblet, and that is what enabled this teleportation grid to activate. But back in the blood chamber, you did discover a list of dates and names, and they were all related to the missions that you have undertaken for the Duke. And there was some conspiracy theory mongering going on amongst the party when you found that, but you never really came to a conclusion. Norsko, who had taken an onyx black gem,
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
he was actually compelled to walk upon this teleportation grid. He was able to resist. But then, ironically, after he had resisted the gem, he attempted to kick it. And when he kicked it, it landed on the teleportation grid and teleported to another location. Because prior to that happening, the 3 of you had absolutely no idea what to do, and you didn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
So that Norsko's act of kicking was ironically what revealed the path forward.
You're welcome.
Ahem. All right, and then after finally escaping the mausoleum, you appeared in this massive library. And Norsko had the idea to touch the gem again, the black onyx gem, because it seemed to be compelling him somewhere, and he thought that would be somewhere important. But he was interrupted by a friendly face, and that was Duncan, who took the gem and threw it out a window down the bottomless chasm of this library chamber. And I illustrated it, but then I deleted it. And where is my freehand tool? So this library area that you are in. Did I switch you guys over to this map? I did. Okay. So it's just a square type chamber, and in the center area here is just a massive free fall. So he chucked the gem out one of these windows. And you spoke to him briefly. And Caleb was kind of close to what he was saying. Does anybody else remember anything else that he said?
Not that I remember.
We could go back to the instant replay, but we're not going to. He did essentially say that if you want to figure out what's going on with the Duke, he actually assumed that you had already figured it out, but you have not, because you asked him about it. He said that if you want to figure out what's going on with the Duke, if you want to put a stop to his plans, then you need to follow him, and there's something that you need to see. And he led you through a series of stairwells and passageways until you reached an overlook into this room, which is, excuse me, as Caleb was saying, in the style of a courtroom, and it is the Court of Ravens. Yes, the Raven Scale cult. And there are many figures wearing masks up in the rafters, dozens of them. And then lower in the portculli, whatever these are, turrets, I don't know. I'm showing my ignorance here. Are many faces that you recognize. Here in the center is Duke Atreides. Then there is River. This was a new character portrait because I'd never had a portrait before him, but this is Lord Beauregard from Tyrus. Here is Kynes, otherwise known to you as Kynes the Dragon Hunter, which is interesting that she's here. And then here is Baron Elderflower. And Baron... What did you say, Caleb?
Or what's left of him.
Exactly. He has been visibly scarred by the fire. And he really... It seems to have taken quite a toll on his person. The left side of his face is covered in black scarring. And it is frankly grotesque. But he still seems to be the same man he was before, and he walks and holds himself with a certain gravitas. All right. So, and they were having a discussion, I almost forgot. They were having a discussion about the new Emperor, Belrose, and the Duke revealed that he is in fact a Lich. He has eternal life, which is the exact opposite of what is wanted out of an emperor. The entire political schema is revolved around having non-dynastic.
Did Baron Elderflower die from poison?
No, well, no, we never found out.
No, Baron Elderflower, he drank the poison. He drank the bottle of wine that was poisoned, and he collapsed. And you assumed that he had died, but you did see him later being carried away after his manor had been set on fire by his aides. So, turns out he survived. It was either due to a miscalculation by the Grand Master, or perhaps just pure luck on his hands, or he's a very wealthy man, so who knows what sort of wards or protection magics he had at his disposal. But at first, actually, I thought you were talking about Lord Beauregard. Lord Beauregard over here, he was actually imprisoned due to your party's actions in Tyrus. Because if you remember, he was providing the melange drug to those who had already been addicted to it out of his own home. And the melange drug was a drug that sated your hunger, and this is due to a large population of homeless and those in poverty. They were prone to using this drug because it completely sated your hunger. But once you had taken it, you were dependent upon it, and if you did not take it, you would die, quite literally die. within a very short period of time. So he was producing it for those people, but you exposed him, so he was imprisoned, and all the people who depended upon him for this source of this drug that he was giving out for free died tragically. But the last you heard, he was in prison. So this is the first time you have seen him since then. And the last thing that they were saying is that Kynes over here said, "So are we to kill another emperor?" And the Duke said, "Yes." And that was the very end of the last session. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a working theory for something real quick, but it needs to be in character. It's mainly going off of how the blood of mortals is useless. Give me the dank kush.
So let me just read that quote.
Bring more precious sanguine.
The blood of mortals is cheap. Pay with the more precious sanguine.
And the Duke is supposed to be technically dead. Maybe. We don't know his first name. We didn't have time to ask Duncan about it. And
well, his death year is supposed to be this year. There isn't a day and month. But it is kind of suspicious how that's already been filled in.
So what I think, either that is not the Duke that we know and love, or the far more likely option is he is also a music guy. He is also he's not mortal. He is also riding high on immortality stuff. So I think he might want the throne for himself. But I need to confirm my findings with Duncan, though, which will probably happen after we sneak out of this meeting. And as soon as I turn this volume down...
Sorry.
No, it's not you. It's the music bot.
Yeah, I really wish there was a way to permanently set the decibel level, but there is not, unfortunately.
That is... Whew. Alright, let's get this show on the road.
I think we've gleaned about as much information as we need.
From the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to start heading away from it?
I'd say we wait till Duncan says it's clear to leave.
Okay.
Alright. What does the rest of the party want to do? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nah.
Oh man.
So while Cyrus and Mitalara are sort of hesitating on whether or not to just go ahead and leave and make themselves scarce, they hear the Duke echo over the rest of the chamber again, and he says, one second.
Alright then.
Sorry, technical issues. 1 second.
Take your time.
Whoops, and embarrassing.
How am I merging?
Don't trigger me. And he says,
As Belrose is a lich, if we want to eliminate him, there is something that we must find. He has a phylactery, which, as I'm sure you all know, houses his life force. Without it, he is invulnerable. I had some retainers with an intimate knowledge of him. However, they seem to have taken a leave of absence. I believe that the court will entertain any ideas on how to proceed.
All right. And after he says that, there's a clamor. There's several figures talking at once. People are talking from the rafters who you don't recognize. And just as a reminder, everyone in the rafters is wearing a mask. So even if you did know who they were, you wouldn't recognize them. And from the pulpits, which is the word I was trying to think of earlier, from all of the pulpits, most of them are talking. The only one who isn't talking is Baron Elderflower. And it's just chaos. So what do you do?
I hope we take advantage of this chaos and dip out.
Let's assassinate and we're leaving.
I'll just shoulder tap Duncan and just signal him we're leaving. I'm pretty sure his big echoey voice could still be heard even when we're not in semi view of the entire court. Does Duncan do anything?
Alright, so Duncan leads you out of this awning, so you are now completely out of view, and he begins ascending another series of stairs, and he turns to you as he's climbing the stairs, and he says, "What are your thoughts on the Court of Ravens?"
Well, let's just say they're an odd bunch. I did not expect River or Kynes to be a part of the court. But I guess the whole thing wouldn't be a secret society if nobody was good at keeping a secret.
I do not know what River's intentions are. I don't know much about her fact that, apart from the fact that she is a member of the Court of Ravens. But Kynes is there as a personal favor to me. You need not fear her.
I got water on my screen. Alright,
You got water on your spleen? What?
no, my screen.
What you doing over there?
Drinking water.
Some vigorous water drinking.
When you close the cap, yeah, because it splashes a little bit. Alright, and also I want to tell Duncan about everything we found in the mausoleum. The calendar, the genealogy, the ledger, everything. And explain to him my working theory about
So,
what exactly is. First of all, I want to ask him, like, what is the Duke's first name?
yeah, I was going to be pitching him. It seems like Sam Zoza is a pretty elegant speaker. Is what I was going to say to Duncan.
Okay, so do you want to interrupt
No.
Vigilaro?
Well, the first question I want to ask him is, Duncan, what is the Duke's first name?
Currently, it is Sam Zozo, which I believe that you have already figured out, as you have managed to traverse here.
I'm just gonna smile and shake my head like, you know, for someone who hates eternal life, He seems to be quite good at it.
Duncan pauses for a moment. He turns at the three of you and he cracks a smile. And he says, I knew you would figure it out. So tell me, what are your conclusions from everything that you found in the Atreides mausoleum? And then he continues his walk up on the stairs.
Well, I'll just tell him, like, what we don't know is why there is a calendar with lists of dates that correspond with us, apparently, or at least events that we are aware of. And we could not figure that out exactly.
The blood chamber. Yes, I will speak of that soon. But the foremost matter, did you inspect the tombs, the sarcophaguses?
They're full of treasure. There are no bodies.
Yes.
Perfect guy. Right, I think.
What did you think of that?
Well, the only thing I could think of is either the bodies were moved further in than we could see, they were disposed of, or there weren't any there to begin with. It was purely for show.
I believe that you have reached the crux of the matter. And for that I am proud. He pauses again and looks down at the three of you. The Atreides lineage is a fabrication. There is only one, and his only name is Atreides.
Well, Court of Ravens, they at least seem like a reasonable bunch. Some of them may be misplaced, but they seem reasonable, so...
So, if we were able to prove his immortality,
Do you think they would help us?
or are they already aware?
I do not know. Those who serve amongst the court do so for their own reasons. Ostensibly, the Ravenscales are a group of dragon worshippers. The Duke has, of course, never made it known his undying nature. But many, including the Baron Elderflower, are not involved for any religious purposes. Their reasons are entirely financial or political. The Court of Ravens has previously included the Emperor. In fact, almost every emperor for the last 1,000 years has been a member of the court. While opposition to those in eternal life positions of longevity is one of their tenets, I do not know if any would be willing to risk their lives or their position to oust the Duke. The Atreides family has been in leadership. The Atreides family has been in leadership of the Court of Ravens since its inception. The only true ally I know we have is Kynes, my comrade. Now, if you give me a moment, I need to go to the bathroom.
That makes two of us.
Oh, where you gotta find one and out of here, Duncan.
Where there's a library, there's a bathroom. You just have to find the book on how to go to the bathroom. Just open it up. There you go. Alright. Give me approximately 45 seconds.
1,
Okay.
2,
3,
3.
4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Alright, I'm actually going to do it.
Good. But
Fucking me too, pot, man.
Is it just me, or is like Ben talking slow, or is that just like the character that he's like talking as,
I think.
or is
that's
it
the
just my
character.
internet? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was like my internet at first. I was like, what's going on? It's like everybody seems to be speaking normal, but Ben.
Nah. He's just speaking slow because it's dramatic
I gotcha.
or something like that.
Pretty sure it's been over 45 seconds.
Minute 45. I'm just kidding. I'm not counting. When I see him come back, I'm gonna be like 203, 204.
Here it comes.
Oh, he's getting another beer.
Oh baby.
I think those two things are connected.
Oh, for sure. Oh, you hear it?
Correct. Cool.
219, 222, 223,
Ben, I want to refund. That was not
224.
You want a refund of what?
It's like 2 minutes, man.
Wow, you're counting down the seconds. You want a refund of the time that you spent on my game.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
I want my 3 minutes. back.
226 seconds.
I want a refund of all the time, effort, and energy I've spent on this game for the past 4 years. Wah! Give me the 4 years of my life back.
Hell
Do you know what I have to say about that, Ben?
Oh
Your
yeah.
mom.
Stop your crying.
Oh, quit your crying. Get out of here, Gerald. Get out of here. Go practice your boner.
It's the tromboner,
Aw.
sir.
Okay, quick aside. I'll have to edit this out of the video. You remember when I was in Gerald's combo for like 5 weeks or so?
Well, I was
That was
snapping.
like
I'm
2
gonna go
days.
take my medicine.
I'm gonna go move some laundry over because I forgot I had it.
LOL.
Yeah.
It's the Exodus. Anyway, do you remember that, Jim?
I do.
Were you in there? What are you in? I guess you were.
I don't think I was. I think you were just talking about it.
I feel like this was the semester before you were in it.
Yeah,
Isaac was in
probably.
it. David was in it. John was in it. Ryan was in it. I don't think you were in it yet. I think you were in it next semester. Anyway, the day I quit, I put in my official resignation through the UNCW website. He found me in a practice room. He's like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Why aren't you in? Why aren't you in combo?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I quit." And he's like, "All right," and he left. And I was like, I felt so bad. But that was semester that I was in big band. I was in Mike's big band. I was in combo. I was in improv. I was in rhythm section techniques. and they were all on the same day, and I physically could not
yeah.
do it. I ended
You
up
were
putting
literally in
improv,
like
too.
1086 for like hours.
I was in 1086 from like 1:30 to like 9:30 straight
Yeah.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays,
hmm
and I thought
I
I could
remember
hack
David
it.
Canning's talking about that.
I thought I could hack it, and I was in music history too. Music history was on
Yeah, I was
Thursdays
about
too.
to say I was pretty sure that was you the same semester.
Yeah, I was in music history 1, 2, and I was also in piano 3 that semester.
Oh, that's right.
With Mr. Whittington. I've
Yeah, we
always
missed
felt
him.
bad about quitting combo because I think I would have become a much better player. But I literally, like, I was awake for about 20 hours a day, just either practicing or
Yeah.
studying. I just,
Dude, you want to know something really weird today? So we had trombone rep class today, and I got up to play. I was the very first person to play, and then Kohlenberg, as he's like walking around, he's handing out little pieces of paper, and he's like, "All right, write your name down on this, and then put it in the jar. This will be your attendance." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I flipped the little piece of paper around, and sure enough, it had like these names written on it, and then X's and all this stuff. And guess what fucking name was on there?
what?
Gerald.
Ah!
Gerald Chinet.
Fuck,
I was like, what the fuck?
Gerald's a douche. Nobody likes him.
No, he was the best. Actually, a lot of people didn't like him. You're
A
very
lot
true
of
on that.
people
but
didn't like him, actually.
I loved the guy. I spent the most time with him, though. That's
Yeah.
why.
I think, and this is the last thing I'll say before we get back to the session, I think that Gerald was a fine man. I think he was probably a good father, probably a good husband, and he knew a lot about music. And he played a lot of music, definitely. I think that he was just a I think he was bad at communication. I think that was the number one thing. He was really bad at communication.
He's good with working with people that already know their stuff. Like, he's definitely really good at working with people that are advanced, but people that are beginners, But it's interesting because we came into a era of musicians that it was kind of like in the middle. Like, you know, a lot of cats before us. I mean, you had Ryan, you had Sean Mead, you had Aaron Lane, you had John Crowley. All these cats, they came their freshman year. They're already playing like bebop.
Mm-hmm.
They were like solid players. So he was like, "Oh, cool." And then like you know, here I come. Doesn't even know really how to play a blues scale or the trombone for that matter, and he's like, okay. and that's the problem with like music education nowadays is like all that. But yeah, we can get in more about that later on. But
What you drinking there, Benny boy?
I am drinking only the finest craft beer.
Is it PBR?
No, PBR is a legitimate craft beer, and I will fist fight anybody who says it isn't.
I'm not saying that's. I mean,
I'm kidding.
It's a good cheap beer.
I'm kidding. No, this is Natty Daddy, which is the cheapest high alcohol content beer that you can buy. It's 8% alcohol. A 12 pack is $6.
Okay.
So it's 50 cents a can for a 12 pack, or 60 ounce a can, 50 cents a can for an 8% alcohol 12-ounce beer, which is an absolutely insane deal.
Yeah.
Does it taste good? No, it tastes terrible. It,
Good
frankly,
thing you only got to stomach it for like 2 of them, and then you don't care anymore.
I have to have 4 really before I'm gone, which I'm currently on my 4th. I love beer and I love craft beer. Craft beer is just too expensive.
Yeah, this is $14 for 4 pack.
Literally, I'm speaking as a person who makes a lot more than minimum wage. I don't make a lot of money, but I make a lot more than minimum wage, and I'm telling you that craft beer is insanely overpriced.
oh yeah,
Yeah, man. That's why you just go with Sierra Nevada. It's like $10.
True. Well, the thing is, Sierra Nevada, it depends on where you are. My local grocery store, Sierra Nevada, is like... How much is it for a 6-pack? They don't even
it's like
have
what, 12
6-packs.
bucks.
$12. What? Jeez.
Yeah.
Come up Fort Mill.
At my grocery store, it's like $9 or $10 for a 6-pack, and the 12 packs are like $16 or $18.
That's about what it's here. But, you
It's
know.
just for 6 when I could get 12 for 6. Like, I used to be able to get PBR for super cheap, but PBR has gotten so expensive, it's ridiculous. I feel like I'm buying a luxury item when I buy PBR now because it's so expensive.
Yeah, what, like a 6-pack of bottles for like Guinness at Harris Teeter is like $11.
Yeah, Guinness is like, it's a good beer, but
I love Guinness.
I do
That's
like
like-
Guinness. I like the extra stout. The extra stout was one of the first beers I ever bought, and I really like it. But it is just way too expensive.
yeah, I mean there are better stouts for less.
Exactly. I mean the shoot, it's like the cheapest brand beer you could buy. I know I've talked about it before.
It's not Duck Rabbit, is it?
No, Duck Rabbit is good. Duck Rabbit is legitimately good.
I like Duck Rabbit.
That's good. Yeah.
Is Yingling's like brown and tan or whatever it's called?
Oh, I know exactly what. Yeah, I get that.
It
I get
is-
that at this bar.
It is so cheap for a brown beer. Frankly, it is like $5 cheaper than any other brown beer on the market. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't. I mean, it's not good, but it isn't that much worse than the other ones. You know.
Yeah.
No, there's on Thursdays you can get. There's this place like really close to my apartment. You can get 69-cent boneless wings, and then Yingling is a $1.50.
Not bad.
So I'm just
For,
like,
for a
oh, yeah,
pint or for 12 ounces?
12 ounces.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Or it's like a tall cup.
A tall is probably 12 ounces.
Brew down for me is good, but it's stupid expensive.
Most places it's better value to get the regular. Like if you get a like Buffalo Wild Wings, the tall is like 2 ounces more than the regular, and it's like 50 cents more. It's terrible value.
Oh no, it's like $2 more.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
I haven't
insane.
been. The last time I went to Buffalo Wild Wings was the last day before the shutdown in North Carolina.
I was gonna say was that when we went?
No, I went with Katrina. It was it was in March. It was literally the last day that they were allowed to operate before all restaurants in North Carolina had to shut down for a while.
That's crazy. That's a good place to go.
Dude, B-dubs. The last time that we went together was with Tanner, and I asked them for the hottest wings that they had. And since the last time that I had went,
I was there.
yeah, dude, the last time that I had went, I had the hottest wings. They were not very hot, and I'm just like, just whatever, get me the hottest wings that you had.
They were so
And
red, dude.
They were so hot, and then I went online and looked it up, and I can't remember what they call their hottest wings, whatever. But they changed the recipe. Literally, they changed the recipe because everybody complained that it wasn't hot enough. And they made it, like, several times hotter. And I literally felt like I was going to die. I was like...
You remember the guy, like, just gave you a pitcher of water?
He did.
You need milk, my dude.
He gave me... Because I kept drinking a lot of water. And, you know, I know it doesn't really help.
We all tried it, too, remember? Like, I had a one. With
You had one, yeah. One or two.
Oh, my God. I was like... Yeah, Tanner and I both had one.
I found hot sauce is probably about that hot.
I went to the bathroom and I had to, like, wash out my eyes and stuff.
I remember that, yeah.
I gave the guy, like, a $10 tip because I felt bad for him. But, dude, I was embarrassed because I'm like, man, I have had their hottest stuff before, and it has not even been close to this hot. What is going on? So they added ghost pepper to their recipe for their hottest wings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Anyway,
I can go buy down some Reaper peppers if I want to.
what'd you say?
I can go buy some Reaper peppers if I want to.
Yeah, I can too. I mean, we're in North Carolina, man, home of the hottest peppers on the planet.
Incorrect. It was brewed, or not brewed, cultivated in Fort Mill. You know your facts then.
boom, roasted.
Ooh,
Okay.
dude, you can look it up.
Fort Mill just wants to be in North Carolina. That's all I'm saying.
You just have Carolina Crown, Jesus.
Fort Mill wishes they were in North Carolina. They wishes that they could pay more taxes and then their roads weren't shit.
Yeah, our road fucking there. Like, you go down 160 and as soon as it turns into Steel Creek, you're like, oh, what?
I literally, I think one time I visited your house on my bike, and I legitimately felt like I was about to die. I missed a like 2-foot pothole by about half an inch, and my heart rate was.
Yeah, no, the roads are pretty bad.
The roads are horrendous. It's
You
because
want to get some really bad roads, you can go to Lancaster County, man. They don't give a shit about the roads.
I mean, I know it's because you guys don't have to pay for inspections and you don't have to have inspections done. But
That's
jeez,
like,
they are so bad. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're not good. But I don't have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, because you can't drive. Rest in
Oh,
peace, JC.
Haven't driven in like a year.
Jonathan Cole Nichols?
Correct. Yeah,
Is that your middle name or is it like a second first name?
it's my middle.
Okay, Jonathan Cole Nichols. Who
Oh,
is-
originally was. I wish my dad would have named it. It was supposed to be Jesse Cicero. It's a cool name.
That is kind of cool.
that's
Cicero
pretty
is a
badass.
great play if you've ever seen it.
Cicero, yes.
But my mom.
You
didn't
know
like
of that
name,
one.
so-
What'd
That
you
was
say,
named my great grandfather.
Oh, that was his name? His great-grandfather?
Cicero, yeah.
Cicero is legitimately a cool name and is legitimately a great play. I love it. Well, have you played in it or something, Jim?
I've just heard of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I learned a lot playing in Thalian.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Cicero is a play about a guy with an enormous nose who is a great poet. So he sort of lends his poetry to other people, and then there's a circumstance in which is sort of the scenario of the play in which he gives his poetry to someone else to try to romance a woman, and then the woman falls in love really with the poetry, but not the man who gives the poetry, because the poetry is Cicero's, and it's kind of cool. It's cool, you know.
He's a ghostwriter, right?
Yes, exactly. Not even essentially. Yes, he's a ghostwriter. But he's a ghostwriter with a really big nose, and he thinks that no one could love a man with a big nose.
Oh my god.
It's probably a fetish out with that.
You know what they say about big noses?
I low-key think there's gunfire outside right now.
Dude.
Get away from the windows.
This is the second time.
Where do you live?
Greensboro.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Greensboro. It isn't as bad as
Portland or anything.
what's the name of that town? It's from where Tanner's from. Shoot,
Who?
Or no.
Somebody.
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville. Yes. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot where Fayetteville was from. Okay. Seriously, this is the last story I'm going to tell, because I'm going to have to edit all of this out when I freaking post it on YouTube.
I just need to like shut up.
Seriously, the last story I'm going to tell, I'm sure Bradley and Caleb are bored to tears. Hi, Bradley and Caleb. Our
Hi, Ben.
Jim and my mutual friend from college, Tanner, who's a really great guy, really. But he grew up in Fayetteville, and his dad was like a Marine commander or whatever, who like beat him up and beat up his brothers and his siblings and whatever. Really rough. Had a really rough childhood. Like, a lot of his friends growing up were just super crazy, and one time he went over to his friend's house, and he had this, they were just shooting this gun, and his friend was like, you know, I scratched, this gun has like the serial number scratched off and stuff, and it's untraceable. He's like, you know, if I killed myself right now with this gun, that you would be in serious shit. Like, and Tanner was like, yeah, I definitely would be. He's like, I should never hang out with that guy again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bit of a red flag.
That was actually a really good impression of Tanner too.
He's hilarious. I haven't talked to him in forever.
I just saw that one time in Boone, met up with him. I'm actually planning on going to Boone this weekend, and I'm gonna try and hit him up.
Tell him I said hi. I need to text him because I haven't texted him since like the start of the semester.
I might be in Boone this weekend.
Tanner
let's get a beer.
is legitimately, he's a really nice guy. He's really had a lot of crazy life experiences. He's probably experimented with every drug that there is on the planet. And he has a bunch of really interesting perspectives on, religion, on life, on politics. But, like, he's never gotten mad at me. He's never yelled at me because we have a different opinion. He's just... And as a musician, he has improved so much. It's like magical.
Pretty long story.
It is a long story. Sorry. Listen. Sometimes... Listen, like, you don't see this in Critical Role. You don't see all these times when they have very long breaks in Critical Role because, you know what? Editing.
Yeah, but I mean, I got like 2 hours.
Okay. I'm seriously, I'm literally going to walk out of my mini fridge, my kegerator. I'm going to grab a beer.
All right, story time.
We can resume.
I remember that time where you, Caleb, and I walked to Walmart every day and get more beer.
That was you, Bradley, and I, not Caleb.
No, it was Caleb.
Was it Caleb?
It was 100% Caleb.
I'm sorry, Caleb. I misremembered that. I remember that there were some guys in the bathroom who were talking about something really weird.
Yeah. I don't know what we were talking about. But
they were talking about something weird, and then we talked about, like, romance and about, like, love and stuff. Who's never heard of love? I don't know what that is.
What?
Oh, God.
Bam.
I can do that too. I'll be right back.
I'm sober.
I can do that too.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm not sober at all.
Oh, he's got a banjo! This got better! He wins! Jonathan wins! Jonathan wins!
Yes.
The banjo.
I don't even have my
Alright, let's play some banjo.
I don't have my picks.
Do some rolls. Whoa. Okay. Seriously.
It's hard to play without my picks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So seriously, what was the last thing I was saying before I took my like 20-minute long break?
Good.
That's a great question.
That's an excellent question.
You should just play back the recording.
It's still recording. I can't do that.
Ah.
Oh, man.
Okay. Bradley or Caleb, do you remember what I was saying?
Thinking.
We found out that dude, I don't know if he changes bodies, but
He's...
we do know he's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
He's indeed a hypocrite.
My mic has been off the entire time.
So
So,
go
I
ahead,
was going
Caleb.
to say, like, because,
I did not.
like, he's been around since day one, how has nobody noticed that he's been in charge since day one?
Is this something that you were asking Duncan out loud?
No, I'm saying that's what I was going to ask before
Okay.
we, everyone had to use the can.
All right. I don't know why all of my magical music has stopped, but it has. Okay, so I don't think the conversation was at an important point, really.
I don't remember.
Before the break, I think I had stopped it at a moment when it really wasn't that important. And
Yes,
when I
you
edit
stopped
this
it.
video, I'm going to be embarrassed because it probably was an important point. But let's pick up on where Mitolaro had an inquiry about the Duke. So go ahead and ask your question that you have.
Duncan, if you've been around since day one, how come nobody's noticed?
Now that is a fantastic question. I assume that you found some sort of genealogy, or that you looked at the inscriptions upon the tombs in the Atreides mausoleum.
Yeah.
It is entirely a farce, of course. The Duke, every 80 to 100 years, changes his appearance, and he makes sure that the public knows that he is wed and he has children. It is something that he plans very carefully, and he has for thousands of years. The entire genealogy of the Atreides family is a farce. There is only one Atreides, as I said, and that is the Duke. And he only has one name, and that is Atreides. I have been serving him for...
And you don't particularly seem stricken. Not stricken. You seem particularly stricken with the man. So, what is the nature of your service?
I have served him for almost 2,000 years. I have no love for Atreides. In fact, I have profound, deep-seated hatred for him. But I am the only one who knows him truly. I am the only one who knows his weaknesses. I am the only one who knows how to defeat him. And the time is soon. The time is nigh. I have witnessed his countless atrocities. I have witnessed the horrors done in the name of the Atreides. I have seen the blood spilt for the preservation of reputation and nothing else. And I have been repulsed, and I have been disgusted, but I have been unable to do anything. That is my
Okay, so
great shame.
They've originally contacted us. Or persuaded you to do so.
Need you to repeat that, sorry.
Okay, so was it you who sought this out instead of the Duke?
Yes. For the past almost 2,000 years, I have been contacting adventurers, contractors for the Duke, who I hoped would grow strong enough and powerful enough to defeat him. But none have as of yet met that mark. In fact, even the three of you I share my doubts. But I've been doing this for thousands of years, and he turns to you as he's continually ascending these stairs. If you decide that the three of you are too weak to do it, to undertake this task, to shove off this coil from the mortal world, I will understand. And I will continue my duty. I will continue to seek out those who might be strong enough to destroy him.
Well, Duncan, if you think that we may be too weak, how can we get stronger?
There is one who might help you, of course. He is one who a few of you are already familiar with, Belrose. I groomed him just as I groomed the three of you, and he is powerful, but he has his own ideals. And I fear that he will simply become another dragon.
Boom. Character told you guys. But yeah.
Okay, so Duncan, you say that you know the Duke's one true weakness, so perhaps for insurance sake, you tell us what it is.
Yeah.
I've read plenty of stories where a character has said, I know the one true way to stop this, and then he dies within 5 minutes. It's a cliche.
Duncan laughs. He laughs at you and he says, unfortunately, my dear friends, my comrades, Duke's one true weakness is his pride. And it always will be. He is proud of who he is. He is proud of what he has accomplished. He believes that he is more powerful than any mortal being, and that is true. It is true. I wish it weren't, my friends. I wish with all of my heart, with all my being, that he weren't more powerful than any mortal being alive today, but he is, and he always will be. If I died today, after thousands of years of service, after thousands of years of tracking his progress, of being the expert on his life, of being a documentarian, of a biographer of Atreides, the dragon, that would not change. There is nothing over than overwhelming force that can defeat the Duke, that can defeat this dragon, this abomination. He's not the only one, you know. He is not the only dragon in this world, but he is the most powerful. From the eons past, he is the only one who emerged with such power. He is older than I by several times, and I fear him, as should you. I will do everything that I can, everything, to destroy him. But, and I am ashamed to say, I will not risk myself. I will not. I've tried this many times, countless times. And I will not risk myself because you may fail. It is true. Countless others have before. But someone must survive. Someone must inspire the next attempt. Someone must be the champion of mortals. Someone must unshackle us from this burden.
I can get behind that.
He turns away and returns to the stairs. All right,
So
everybody
what's
roll for me, please.
Roll what?
Roll just a straight up 1d20.
Can't even type.
What the
Oh,
ass?
boy, we're all good.
How did I get a 10 and I got the highest roll?
I don't know, but I'm feeling something bad about to happen.
Oh, RNGesus, why?
Sorry.
I didn't sacrifice a small goat this year. I'm sorry.
Feels bad, man. Alright, what say you, O Benjamin?
Alright,
Lord of Games.
I am ready.
So the three of you, including Duncan, so the four of you, have finally, after what seemed like hours, returned to the surface of Rel Astra, the capital of Arity. Excuse me. And Duncan leads you up to an eloquent chamber, one of many. In fact, you have seen countless of this similar design. Is labeled sewer access only.
Oh, goody.
But within the past few hundred meters, this chamber has transformed from an eloquent library to a grimy farce. And you arrive atop the city, you breathe fresh air, and you feel, at least for the moment, at peace at home. You have uncovered these horrible revelations. The man who have served for years is in fact an immortal dragon, at least according to Duncan. And he is a being of immense influence. And you believe that he has killed the previous emperor, although you do not know why, and you are confused. All three of you roll wisdom for me.
Oh boy, I think I have like.
Oh, I'm actually good in wisdom and watch it be bad.
Oh yeah.
So Mitolaro, you rolled very well. And upon stepping upon the surface of Rel Astra in the noble quarter, you feel the question arise: why did the Court of Ravens, the Raven Scales, kill the previous emperor? What was the purpose? You feel the question arise: why would Atreides risk himself? Why would he expose himself? And you don't understand. You feel confused. That's all internal, so it's your choice whether or not you actually ask Duncan those questions. But you feel very suspicious. You arrive in this new light and you see things under a new scenario, and you question Duncan, and you question what he's been telling you, and you question why you should believe him.
Alright, I'm just going to ask him, like, Duncan, there's something that's been bothering me lately. So, the Court of Ravens definitely killed the Emperor. The previous. They flat out admitted it. Why? The Duke himself destroyed the Ambrosia and replaced it with a fake. Why? There was no possibility that he was going to live, I dare say, maybe a year. So, why did they risk themselves with that cursed book?
Duncan, he seems emotional. And there are tears glistening in his eyes. But not a single tear has fallen as of yet. And he says, I do not know why.
Starting,
What'd you say?
I was gonna say it's starting to come to me.
I do not know why the Duke claimed the Emperor's death, but I spoke to you before, and the only one who could accurately plagiarize, accurately copy the Duke's signature was me. And that is why I departed in a rapid fashion from Theatrades Manor. I am ashamed, but I'm ashamed because the Duke... I'm sorry. I'm ashamed because the Emperor was my friend. But I am the one who killed him. I faked the Duke's signature. It was all me. I hoped that the next Emperor would expose the Atreides. I hoped that he would condemn them. I hoped that it would be the unraveling of the Raven Scales. I hoped it would be the unraveling of the Court of Ravens. But it was not. That accursed Belrose. He could not believe that the Duke would arrange the death of the Emperor. But that is because he does not know the Emperor. I am ashamed.
Out of character, don't you mean the Duke?
No.
Out of character, don't mean the Duke what?
Like when he said like he does not know the Emperor, like didn't you mean the Duke? Or
No.
did you mean the Emperor?
Pretty sure. He said the Emperor was his friend.
Oh.
The Emperor was sorry, not Belrose. The Emperor was Duncan's friend.
Uh-huh.
And he believed that whoever the next Emperor was would be suspicious enough to investigate the Duke. However, by pure coincidence, and for those who don't know, or those who don't remember, or for Jim, in this world has been predisposed against dragons, and their greatest fear is a dynastic relationship to dragons, a dynasty who has a relationship to dragons, who is influenced from emperor to emperor. So that is why there is the rule of the Golden Throne. So, whoever of the rule of the musical thrones, whoever says it, so literally after the current or past emperor dies, literally whoever sits down first in the throne becomes the emperor. And Duncan is saying that whoever he expected to be the emperor, he expected to accuse the Duke because of the note that you read, and because of the book. He expected that, and he expected that to disrupt the current political schema. But it did not, because Belrose was the one who inherited the throne. And Belrose could not conceive of why the Duke would want to kill the Emperor. Because Belrose knew the Emperor, and because Belrose knew Duncan. And he did not think that it was right, because it wasn't right. And Duncan says, I am greatly ashamed, but I killed. It was me. It was me who killed the Emperor.
I'm just gonna give him a hug and just say, hey man, it's okay. You did what you had to do.
I thought it would work.
Well, we have actionable proof that the Duke is not who he says he is. Well, okay, it's not actionable, it's up to interpretation. But Belrose is an old friend of ours, so I'd like to at least entertain the idea that he would hear us out.
That is my only hope. I know that Belrose has no deep-seated love for Atreides. He does not know the truth, as far as I'm aware, but it is my deepest prayer to the ancients that he will assist you.
Well, we do have actionable proof that the Duke is going to try to kill him. So we at least have that as a good motivator for him to help us.
Okay? Duncan is weeping before you. He wipes his faint tears before you, and he says, my friends, you are the strongest. You are the most powerful. You are the most loyal. You are the most faithful I have ever led upon the Duke. And you have my genuine apology. I am sorry that this is the task upon which I have appointed you. I apologize with all of my heart because some of you might not survive. I probably will not survive. I think this is probably our last chance to destroy him. Countless mortals have died unnecessarily under his rule. Countless humans, countless elves, countless dwarves. I wish more than any, maybe other than kinds, I wish more than any that dragons were permanently rid of this world. Those disgusting creatures. Those disgusting creatures. They do not deserve the breath that they breathe. They steal every breath that they breathe from every other creature upon this world, and it makes me sick. I believe that this is the last stand, and any benefit upon which I can grant you, I will. I have spent the last 2,000 years preserving myself, preserving this legacy in order to destroy the Duke, in order to destroy every last living dragon upon this world. But he, I believe, has discovered me. He, I believe... I believe that this is the last chance. And He wiped a tear from his eye. I believe that I will fight with you. Anything you need, I will serve you. Too many of my friends, too many of my comrades have died in service of this mission, so that mortals may live freely. They may choose their destiny. They don't have to serve some primordial being who deigns for their own leadership, for their own wealth. I believe that this is the time, and I am willing to sacrifice everything to support you.
Are you willing to admit your patricide to Belrose? I think that might help sway him.
I am. I have lived. I have lived so long. And I have seen so much misery. If you three believe that you are strong enough, I will support you. And I will speak to Belrose, and I will try my best to convince him that it is the best. It is the best thing to destroy the Duke, the last remaining great dragon. But the Duke is right upon forgive me. The Duke is right in that anyone who is granted eternal life, or anyone who has earned eternal life, will become a dragon. Even not in biology, they will assume the role of dragons. It is inevitable. And though I believe Belrose may become an ally for you, and he is an essential part of destroying the Duke and destroying this irrevocable dynasty of dragons, I believe that he needs to be destroyed himself. He cannot be permitted to live.
Will become a new Duke, essentially.
Exactly. Cyrus. You know. And I know that you had doubts about Ambrosia. I know you had doubts about eternal life. And I know you suffered from Agnes' death. I know you did. And I will confide upon you sorry. So to clarify, your party, including Duncan, the four of you, have not quite entered the mouth of this passage. You can see the daylight above you, but you haven't entered there yet. So
we're away from prying ears.
You are. But Duncan grabs you by the shoulder and he leads you several meters lower.
Everyone, me specifically.
He leads you away from Norsko and Mitolaro.
Alright.
And he
guess
says, the illness upon which you lost your matron, Agna, is the same upon which Belrose lost his mother figure. And it is the same upon which he lost his companion, his greatest friend. You have not met her. In fact, I believe you have never met Belrose, unless I'm mistaken.
What? When we found, what was it, the Vessel of Creation?
Yep, we ran into him.
And I'm aware that the party has history.
You have met Belrose. What do you recall about him?
Oh, Cyrus is gonna ponder.
So, out of character, what you remember about him, Mitolaro realized that he was blind. And Mitolaro and Cyrus realized that he was much more powerful than the last you met. But something, actually, before I do this, roll, hold on. Let me check out your character for a second.
Lightning, it's probably not the most applicable skill.
Roll insight for me, please.
Good thing I can take a 10. Well, I rolled a 10 anyway, so.
Okay. So, Belrose, sorry, not Belrose. Cyrus, you remember distinctly the Red Phantom who followed Belrose. And there was an importance behind that, and you remember. Do you say anything about it as Duncan is talking? He asks you what you remember about meeting Belrose.
I will assume that what was the importance?
Duncan says that red phantom, that red figure who followed Belrose was one very close to him, and he suffered. I apologize. She suffered the same as your matron, the same as Agna, the same as. I should not say. But the Red Phantom. The Red Phantom is someone close to him. And though you may not recall, he is a necromancer. I believe that when the time comes, you will be the only one to defeat him, Cyrus. And he places his hand on your shoulder and he says, "You are the newest of the trio. But I place my faith in you."
And so far as I can see, outside of he or Agna and this lady to whom he's close, I have no other qualifications other than it being the same illness. So while I appreciate the stock you place in me, I do not see it myself.
Do you say that, or do you say that in a character?
I'll say that in character.
In character. He says, "Perhaps you do not realize the strength of commonality. But whether or not you realize that you identify with Belrose, and I believe with all of my heart that you will be able to see his unraveling. And I believe with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my thousands of years of experience, that Belrose needs to be defeated. Not just the Emperor, not just the Duke, but the people, the persons upon which they are, they both need to be defeated. The party, Norsco and Cyrus, and the three of you, I believe, will be able to defeat the Duke. I pray. I pray that they will. But you, I believe that you hold the key to neutralizing Belrose. He pats you on the back a couple of times, and then he begins walking up to the rest of the party.
So I will contemplate on his words and maybe join him a moment or two later.
Alright. I will leave you to contemplate, and I will take a brief bathroom break. If anybody has anything to discuss in secret, remember, that's being recorded for posterity. But feel free to discuss.
Free posterity.
Chicken butt.
Free.
Okay.
That's my campaign.
I want to hunt down that damn werewolf.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
We have more pressing matters.
Well, no, what I was going to do, like, as a way to...
Like a mid, like your epilogue thing.
I was gonna do, like, confidence, like, after when this is over, you and me, we're gonna go kill a werewolf.
Who says... Are you saying that to the party? To
I'm saying this to no one. It's talking way out of character. Because I thought that was what Ben said. Because I have nothing more to discuss other than ask Duncan if he actually does have a lead on that werewolf lord from Tyra.
Oh, my God. He's your mom. God.
It's literally central character arc. Also, Bradley, I bought Monster Hunter Rise, so
You can buy it already.
well, you can pre-order it.
Pre-order cancer. Don't do that. You don't even know if it's going to be good.
It's gonna be good.
You don't know
I really
that.
like Genyu. And Genyu is very un-noob friendly.
Well, I'm going to go get some more.
How about that God's Forsaken Monster Hunter movie, Bradley?
You mean the one I didn't see and I also don't care about?
Yeah. I saw it.
have no
Like,
opinion.
it's dumb.
Alright, well, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go make use of the lavatory.
Okay.
Where's your little poopers?
Hey Ben, I think I'm gonna dip out.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, I'm kind of beat. It's been a long day.
No, man, I get it. I get it.
My watch told me I walked a total of 8.5 miles today.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. And I went to the gym.
On that point, are we going to reach a good stopping point? Or better, it seems like a fairly good stopping point. We're going to reach a better one by 11.
Was everybody here right now?
Bradley is taking a dump.
Oh yeah, Ben, I did have one question about, so you were talking about the dragons taking over, or kind of like holding this sort of reign. Or is that dragonborns or the actual dragons?
Actual dragons.
Oh, okay. So there's a difference between dragonborn and dragons?
Yes. In fact, in traditional D&D lore, correct me if I'm wrong, JC, I believe that the dragonborn have a pretty bad relationship with the actual dragons.
Yeah, I think they do.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Curious. I just made for Jonathan's campaign, I just made a dragonborn character, so.
Yes, I know. And I'm looking forward to that. We haven't played JC's campaign in a while because I've been trying to wrap up mine. And I think we're just a few sessions away. But I
said that just a few sessions ago.
Listen, okay, my best arc, Tyrus, my Tyrus arc was designed to be 3 sessions, and it was like 12. So
go shopping.
That's just how D&D works, man.
Yeah. No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, but I kind of want to wait until Bradley gets back. But I'm okay with sort of wrapping up the session here.
I mean, you know, I hate to be a stickler, but I mean, I want to get my epilepsy.
Stay through a whole session and you ended.
Gotta get off my lap.
I don't know how long we've been recording.
I think we started around 8:30.
We've been recording for 1 hour and 37 minutes. But that includes like the 20-minute break where
You know,
You gotta go delete all that out. And find out. You should just send him that clip of us talking about him. And be like, help him, like, give him a little boost to his day. It was all good stuff. God. Yeah, that'd be cool to see him this weekend for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gonna try and do that.
All right, so I'm actually, even though Bradley is gone, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a conclusion of the session. So, Cyrus, you and Duncan return to the rest of the party, and you arrive at the mouth of this stairwell that leads into the main city, the noble quarter at the top. And that is going to be the end of the session. So the 3 of you are going to have a while to decide what you actually want to do from this point here on out. But this is the end of this current session on October 5th. October 5th, 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And at least for the next session of my campaign, I'm going to want everybody.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, signing off.
I'm super excited for Jonathan's for sure.